I think a lot of people still think that your brand comes down to the logo or the colors, that type of thing, right? If I talk about, you know, how's your school branded? You might say, well, our colors are, like for us, everything is red, black, and white, you know, when it comes to our logo colors. But on the inside of our school, the walls are like a grayish, right? Gray and black. We have highlights of red. So we kind of keep that all kind of throughout, and we made that conscious decision because that's what we wanted the school to look like. And I think when it comes to a multi-location type of thing, it's really great to have that symmetry there, because when it comes to marketing, it's much easier to promote one school versus the other school and people to understand it's the same, right? If one Chick-fil-A looked a little different than the other Chick-fil-A, which they do sometimes, but you can still recognize it's Chick-fil-A, and that's the whole thing. So I think for the most part, people kind of maybe are feeling this way, that it's down to my logo, it's down to my colors. These are the most important things that I can do when it comes to branding. But that ultimately would be a mistake because there's no depth. Tell me what red, black, and white meaning is there. I mean, I don't know what red, black, and white, our logo meaning is. I have no idea. Like, why did we choose red, black, and white? I don't know. We just did. I think it looked better. Here's probably what it was, if I had to guess. It's the amount of colors that you needed on a screen print for a t-shirt back in the day. I would think because it was the cheapest, right? You could take it, you could just do black only or red only on a white t-shirt because it was the cheapest. That's probably why. So there's no depth here. Like that logo, the colors on your school, they don't say anything to anyone about your history, your legacy, the blood, the sweat, the tears that you have put into your school. None of that. And that's why the old way of thinking about brand has to change, because that's gonna be the differentiator. Because when you're just thinking about it in terms of logos or colors or things like that, there's no allegiance, right? Like you were talking about, you guys had an instructor leave, right? People left with him. They don't care about your logo. They care about the person, the personality, right? And we've had people leave, and we've had people try to take people with us or with them. If they don't have an allegiance to you as much as it's about the culture that you've created, but I do feel like there is a component that you can get disconnected from, which I feel like we kind of got disconnected from, but we're pulling back. Part of it's because of he never wanted to be known as the head sensei. When everybody walks in the door, everybody stands to attention and you don't move until he's like, move on. Like that was, and I think we went so far that direction as we built things up inside the school, and then he's not necessarily teaching, I'm not necessarily teaching. One of the things that we started noticing is that there was no energy around, and again, it's not to feed the ego, but there was no energy around who are you? Like we could randomly walk through the school because we had the one at the one time, but now the multiple locations, and no one knew who we were. Great example of organically what they've done with intention around leadership and development through all the locations that they had. They have Truett Cathy's story. At least they used to. I haven't been inside a Chick-fil-A in a while, I'll admit. But they used to have it on the wall, right? Truett Cathy, the founder, like you walk inside and it'll say a story. A lot of restaurants will do that. If you go to a restaurant, you're gonna see the founder's story there. Why? Because they're trying to develop brand, because they know ultimately when it comes down to chicken, some people want the Chick-fil-A sandwich because of the culture that they've built around the Chick-fil-A sandwich, and Truett Cathy doing that. Like there's a story. Or yeah, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? We know Colonel Sanders. Like there's a character, there's a story. That's why there's Mickey Mouse and Disney, right? You know, we have these characters and these stories, and the things that I feel that we all have to get to is like, we are that character. You've got to embody that character. If you don't, someone in your school will. And you just have to choose who that's going to be, intentionally or not, right? And that's what I was saying earlier. You could have a cast of characters. It doesn't just have to be you. It would be a cast of characters, which is also really important for marketing. If you can do this, if you can get people to start connecting with you or your cast of characters in your school, enrollments become easier. They become easier. What do we have to do? We need people to know us, we need people to like us, and we need people to what?
Trust us.
Trust us. Okay? Part of the reason why, I mean, Mr. Taylor, we were talking about this earlier. We have never met in person until today. The first time that we've ever met, I haven't met you in person until yesterday, right? Everybody, I haven't actually met you in person, but you feel like you know me because of how much time and you do know me, just to be clear. You do know me. That sounded really weird. But we feel like this is odd that we haven't, like, we feel like we know each other really well physically, and like that we've been around each other, we've been hanging out because we have on Zoom for years, right? And so that relationship can get built through social media these days. Like and it's not one-to-one. Whereas a Zoom call would be one-to-one. Your social media, your brand, you need to think about speaking to that ideal person, which we can get into your ideal student profile as well. You need to feel like you're talking to that parent every single time that you turn your camera on to do a video. You know, maybe you have one or you have two. Every time I film anything to do with 7-Figure Dojo, I'm thinking about, you know, who is this for? Like, who am I talking to? And we'll talk about some differences that I've just gone through as well, and I think it'll be very helpful for you guys and how you think about stuff. But enrollments are easier. And why does this matter? One, ad costs. Your ad costs are going to go up. They're going to come down. They're going to fluctuate. The more competition that's in your area, the more your costs are going to go up, because ad costs on social media platforms are auction-based. So the more people that are bidding for that particular view, the more the cost is going to escalate. Because AI is going to be so much easier to use, more people are going to use it.